I've got the spores, the sickness, SD twins in my brain.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Domestique Cycling Podcast. It is a pleasure to be joined today by Domestique member Dieter, who has finally appeared out of hibernation. Hello, Dieter.
Hello, mate. It's hard to record in my student room, in which I am the whole week except the weekends. So I've been not a lot on the pod lately, which sucks. But I'm on vacation now, so I'm back.
I'm sure everyone has missed you. The viewers would agree. Let's start off with talking about last week's Ronde van Vlaanderen. There was only one word to describe it for me: sensational. How about yourself?
It was pretty. It was a sensational performance to look at. But yeah, the moment he left on the Koppenberg, you knew it was over. So also wasn't the most exciting race. I think Roubaix will be more exciting. So it's a bit double for me. But then the women's race, that's one I really enjoyed. So yeah.
Yeah, sitting roadside, seeing that, both the men and the women. So I think the women's was definitely more interesting for me.
Yeah.
Do you think he will be able to do it again next year with Mathieu van Der Poel or not?
Also depends. I think Wout would have been really close here in the rain. Didn't have the feeling that it was super Van Der Poel, which is strange to say after a 45k solo, but yeah. And then you can also have like Pogačar maybe turning up again next year, or even the Poel going for it. And if one of those two is going for it, then Van Der Poel is in for a tough time.
I have no idea about if Van der Poel would be good in Flanders. I'm not sure. Do you think he would be? You think?
Yeah.
The only thing I'm certain on this year is that Pogačar would have obliterated it. I said this in the preview.
That's true.
And
That's true.
Bram and Yves was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah.
No, it's true. Definitely in the rain this year. You saw Van der Poel really wasn't going fast on the last time Paterberg. Pogačar would have definitely dropped him there, and then Van der Poel was so fucked in the last flat part. Pogačar would have soloed away probably. So yeah, I also think that Pogačar would have just ruined Van der Poel this Sunday. But still, how Van der Poel won. The CX skills coming in handy. You really saw the guys who do CX. I don't know if you know, but you have a cross each year on the Koppenberg.
Yeah.
So they do it like 6-7 times or something. They were the ones riding up it, and from the rest, not a lot of just normal road cyclists. So that was pretty cool to see, in my opinion.
I think I seen like something on X. Someone posted out Merlier. Merlier did some insane effort, like some CX effort up the Koppenberg.
Yeah, he ran up it very fast, faster than I did it on my bike. With like the bike, he shouldered the bike and he just started running like a madman.
Do you think that the Koppenberg, if it's rain like that, should still be in the race?
No. Even if it didn't rain, it's like hard, because if you want it out with rain, you have to decide it on Saturday, which is a bit ridiculous in my opinion. And there are so many alternatives. So for my part, you can drop Koppenberg out of the race. There are many alternatives in the region. It's a bit ridiculous in my opinion that a road race is decided like this. I think a lot of people disagree, because the Koppenberg is something mythical, but it's not good for the race. Like, how ridiculous does it look that only three cyclists make it up it, and they ride away because of that? Like, that has nothing to do with, has a bit to do with how strong you are, but most about like how many times you went mountain biking or on a cross bike in the winter. So that has nothing to do with road cycling, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think next year we may see, if the rain is like that, I think it will be gone, in my opinion.
That's like, it's always the late decisions. With Milan-San Remo, it was the case, which with the route possibly changing, it didn't last moment. Now with Roubaix, with the chicane, Vlaanderen with the Koppenberg, if they change it, they would also be last minute probably. So yeah.
Moving over to the finish in Oudenaarde, we had the relegation for Michael Matthews, and that was just completely stupid decision in my opinion. I don't understand how he's been relegated. What's your thoughts on that?
A real bummer for Michael Matthews, but if you follow the rules, it was the right decision. Matthews also always does it, always.
Yeah,
Just
he
like,
does always do
and
it.
then people used the excuse that he was going past Bettiol and Teuns, but Bettiol and Teuns see Matthews coming and they move up to the left. So Matthews could have just stayed in the middle of the road, sprinted further, and I don't think Pollitt would have had him, so we would have had this third place. But now he moves up. I watched it back like 10 times. Pollitt has to go sit down and maybe break a bit, I don't know, but he definitely is hindered by Matthews. So if you follow the rules, a relegation is at its place. So yeah, it's definitely sucks for Matthews. I love the guy, to be honest. So it was, yeah, after barely missing out on Milan San Remo, now missing out on the Ronde podium, it sucks for him, but I think it was the right decision. And that's going to be an unpopular opinion. But yeah.
I just don't understand how they pick and choose where they relegate people. Like, for
Yeah, that's true.
example, you had Philipsen last year
Mhm.
on the Tour de France. He did it numerous occasions. Germay has been one to deviate as well.
Mhm.
So yeah.
That's true.
What about the surprise stories? And Mozzato getting second
Oh,
is pretty insane, isn't it?
I was sitting in the couch, like Mozzato second. I was trying to process what happened. Like, if you would have told me that the morning or the evening before, I would have betted like 5,000 euros on it that would not happen, and and it did. So yeah, that's so crazy. That's rain. Yeah, a lot of rain always gives strange results, but this was a very strange one.
But Arkea as well, that is a absolutely immense result for them, isn't it?
And it's not like he went on altitude or something. I watched through his pro cycling stats. I know he won one of the two sprint races in Belgium. I can't keep them apart, both in West Flanders. But he did a lot of races, like literally every race in Belgium, he raced that. So like a normal cyclist would have just be on his knees if he did that program, and he finishes second in the Ronde van Vlaanderen. So massive respect to him, and he looked really good in the sprint, like how he flew past Matthews. Yeah, crazy.
And to beat Matthews in a sprint is no slouch, is it? The guy is one of the best fatigue-resistant sprinters in the entire peloton, Matthews, in my opinion.
That's true. That's true.
Going on to my personal experience in Ronde van Vlaanderen, and that was an almighty experience on the Paterberg. The first time up, I don't know if you could see any of us on TV, but Ben Turner, he was first going through, and that was crazy to see a Brit go through up the Paterberg the first time on the attack. I don't remember, was Mads Pedersen that attacked before that or not? I can't remember because I couldn't really see a stream at the Paterberg.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, it was before the first time Paterberg, I think. But it's hard to keep apart because they went up it 3 times, but I think it was before the first time. 2 times.
Yeah, 2 times. Yeah.
Oh no, now I'm not a Belgian anymore.
Yeah, you're banned.
Fuck. Shit.
It was 2 times at the Paterberg, yeah, and the second time MVP solo. When he was solo there, oh my, the crowd was just insane, you know.
Was there a lot of booing on the Paterberg? Because on the Kwaremond it was not pretty.
On the Paterberg, it was a lot of Dutch people, I think, and I didn't see a single bit of booing, which is obviously good. On the Kwaremond, though, that was quite insane to see people do that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's 3 times Quaremont, but only 2 times Paterberg. That's why I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
confused for a bit. But yeah, the Quaremont ridiculous. Like the best 1 day Cobbled Classics racer at this time, world champion, going solo from 45 kilometers in horrendous weather. If you throw beer at that guy, you deserve to like be punished by police or something. They're actually trying to search the people who did that so they can punish them in the way they deserve, because this is just ridiculous. Like it's not only a cyclist on a bike, it's also a human being with
mm,
feelings, etc. He's winning one of the biggest races there is. Let him enjoy that moment and don't fuck it up for him. That's just ridiculous.
it's crazy as well how a man can go and do that when there's children around. It's a bad influence on the younger
Yeah,
generations.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just completely ridiculous, and there's no place for that in cycling or in cyclocross, where you would see that even more. Yeah,
Yeah, let's hope that person is punished, and rightfully so. Moving over to the
exactly.
Ronde van Vlaanderen women, what is your thoughts about the race? I thought it was better than the men's.
Yeah, it was great to watch. Some strange tactics by Lidl-Trek, in my opinion, but they still won. And I was rooting for Puck Pedersen, to be honest, who isn't racing Roubaix women for the moment. I hope it changes because I really want to see her there, but she has a big mountain bike program, so that sucks. But I think Puck Pedersen went too early on the Quaremont. Michelle Cornelissen, who's like her leader. Um, Team leader also said that if she went on Paterberg, she probably would have been able to follow Longoburguni and Jevadoma, and I think the same about that, to be honest. And then in the sprint, Puck Pietzels is really fast, so that's a bummer. Um, but it was a very good race to watch, to be honest, which was for a big part due to Kopecky not being at her best. Because yeah, otherwise we would have gotten Van Der Poel scenario, I think.
Yeah, the women's race had an absolute downpour at the end of it. It was crazy how much
Yeah,
that rain was different to the men's race. And like the start of the men's race when I was there, like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. at the start of Paterberg, blue skies, everything. Yeah,
yeah,
within two
that's Belgium.
hours, yeah, 2 hours, yeah, full on rainstorm and wind, everything. It was oof, crazy.
Yeah, it's always like that. Yesterday I went for a bike ride. It was raining like hell, and 50 minutes later I was riding in the sun and the road was dry. So yeah, we live in a crazy country.
Talking about your cycling rides, I seen last Sunday that cycling in Flanders or something like that, they produced a Flemish stew energy gel. I'm sure many people have seen that around on X and stuff like that. What do you think of that?
To be honest, I love stew on my fries, but like when I'm at heart rate 190 and need some quick sugar, I don't think stew is the way to go, to be honest.
I seen Matt Stevens try it and he was like, it doesn't have a sweet or a savory taste. So yeah, it looks like a bit of an enigma.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy.
Yeah, sticking in Belgium, we move on to the Scheldeprijs, aka the Sprinters World Championships, where Tim Merlier was victorious.
Yeah, and how? I think he opened up with 250 meters to go or something. Like if Merlier has the place to open up a sprint, um, like a pure sprint after a very easy race. I think he's one of the fastest. If yeah, he's the fastest, also faster than Philipsen. I think Philipsen has some more fatigue resistance.
Mm.
But like maybe Sam Welsford in a fresh sprint is faster than Merlier. Um, but yeah, in races like at Scheldeprijs also, he had a flat with like 10 kilometers to go. He came back like a madman, still won it in a crazy way.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Gerben Thijssen broke his ankle, by the way, in the crash in the beginning of the race. So that's a bummer.
Yeah, it looked like a very nasty crash the way he landed. Like you just see him fall. And the other Intermarché guy, I think who was the other one?
Arnhem yeah.
Yeah, he looked like he hit the back of his head, really. I think.
Yeah, to be honest, it looked like Marit crashed harder than Thijssen, but Thijssen is the
Yeah.
one with the biggest injury. So, yeah, it's
The
a
way he
real bummer.
landed, isn't it?
Yeah,
As well, in the last 200 meters, there was a UNOX rider just in the corner of the screen. I think it was Fredheim. I don't know if you've seen that. He had a little bit of a nasty crash.
I missed it, to be honest.
Yeah, if you see the replay, around 200 meters to go, yeah, there's just a UNOX rider fall at very high speed, but I think he got away with
That's
just
always
bruises and
it's always the
contusions.
case in the final stretch of Scheldeprijs. You have like those some stripes in the road in which your wheel can be caught up in, and there's always a crash in the final straight of Scheldeprijs. And yeah, if you crash there, it's like 70-75 k's an hour, so you don't have much skin left. So it's always a very tough one.
Mark Cavendish skip this race. Do you think he'll be
Tour of
able?
Turkey.
Why do you think that is the case that they've chosen that?
I was sick, so probably this was too close, and then go to Tour of Turkey to get a bit of kilometers in the legs and to sprint against not too tough competition. Within a race like this, like against the Merlier, Philipsen, no chance for him to win, to be honest. He has to be lucky with positioning, etc. Because if he needs to open up next to a Merlier, no, sorry to the British people, but that's going to be rough.
So you don't think he will be able to get his record-breaking Tour de France win, no?
That's different because you can have like crazy. Yeah, Cavendish can, due to his tactical greatness, can maybe do something in the Tour de France stage where he like open ups early or something, or his position good when the other fast guys aren't, maybe like that. But if he has to open up next to a Merlier or Welsford, or yeah, he really ain't beating those 2000 watts guys.
I mean, I can't be biased. I'll just say yes.
Yeah, he can win a stage, but he'll need to be a tad lucky.
I meant the one where he was going to win, then like his chain dropped or something like that. That was Colton Kirby's reaction for that. It makes me laugh every time.
That's what I mean with Cavendish tactics. Was the perfect moment to go. If his chain didn't, I think it jumped when he took it up another gear. Yeah, that sucked. If his gears just stayed in the right place there, good chance he would make it. So yeah, that was a very big bummer.
A good chance he probably wouldn't be racing now as well. So
It's true. So yeah.
Moving on to the beautiful Basque country, where the Itzulia has been pure chaos all over the shop, with crashes all over. Have you enjoyed it so far, mate?
Well, yeah, we missed the favorites in the first stage, the time trial, because there wasn't a broadcast yet. So we saw Remco crashed, not too hard. Roglic took the win while going the wrong way. So even if Remco didn't crash, Roglic would have still won, which is crazy for me, to be honest. I mean, we know he can do those short efforts, but against the competition here, Remco, Ayuso, Vingegaard, Skjelmose, fine. Yeah, that's a very nice win, to be honest. But then Roglic yesterday in stage 3, it was, I think, or 2. Don't shoot me if I'm wrong. 3. Was a pretty nasty crash. I just saw some fan images before the podcast, and was a nasty crash. He fell upside down, and then he was like sliding on the road on his shoulders, neck, and head. He was like on his head, sliding on the roads. He was also, you also said it in the group chat, he was very dizzy, but got back on his bike again, and he looked good on the bike, to be honest.
Yeah, he did.
So yeah, I think he definitely had necessary checks yesterday after the race, etc. So if they put him back on the bike again today, everything will be good. But yeah, he lost a lot of skin there, so that's never good. So that's it's a bummer for his GC probably. But yeah, still a good race with good competition.
Yeah, Roglic will be in for a nasty sleep last night, I guess, with all that skin he lost. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I've seen like a picture of the road before, and there was like a drain cover it, like just like a little bit of a drop down in the middle of the road. I don't know if that was the cause of the
It's like,
accident, but
that's typical Roglic. He was the only one who crashed there. Yeah, another Movistar rider crashed because of him. He went over him. Yeah, he fell over him. But it's like good 10 other cyclists there, and Roglic is probably the only one to crash there. So yeah, we know that of him, and that just sucks big time. But I think a lot of people underestimate how bad it is to lose skin in the middle of a race. I always thought, oh, we only lost some skin, it's going to be good. But then I lost a good amount of skin myself once in a crash, and then I was like, not worth anything for a week. And then I knew if you have this in the middle of the Tour de France, you're fucked. So that's when I realized this not just a lose of skin, like all your energy goes towards of your body goes towards trying to heal up those wounds, and that's just not beneficial for your performance on the bike.
being a Roglic fan, you just go through about like 1,000 emotions within like 10 minutes. You go from pure jubilation to despair. It's actually there's nothing like it, genuinely. But
Downfall in
Vingegaard,
Paris-Nice, then back up again in the TT in Basque, and then back down again. And in the Tour de France, it will be in the Tour de France it will be an all-time debt, I think, for the Roglic fans.
Vingegaard performance his TT performance is strange, wasn't it?
I expected more of it, to be honest, but at the other side, it's a fresh TT. Like I already saw, this confirms that Vingegaard was doping in the Tour de France, blah blah blah. First of all, this isn't in July, so Vingegaard isn't peaking. Second of all, that was a TT in the third week of the Tour de France. Fatigue resistance. Yeah, you need to look at it in a relative way, and I think that's a loss for a lot of people.
My voice is not very nice, so if our voice cracks, please don't laugh. Who will win the GC in Basque?
Yeah, we also saw a Yuzo crash yesterday. Very bad crash, to be honest. He got back on his bike, but that looks very nasty.
Skelmo's involved in that, I'm sure.
Yes, Kelmo's also crashed, but not.
Yeah, he lost 2 minutes on the result. 2 minutes on the provisional results. So
I think Jonas just was caught up in it, but didn't crash.
So who else? Well, I think half of the UAE's team pretty much crashed and was involved in that crash. If I'm correct.
Vine didn't crash, but lost time in the stage La Pera one, like 27 seconds or something. I think Jonas and Remco will be the two best ones, but Jonas won't be able to drop Remco on the short climbs here. So I think Remco will take it.
I'm gonna agree with you. I think it's going to be interesting today. I think we're going to have some GC action. As I don't know if you've seen the parkour, but the ending today looks.
Today's going to be interesting, yeah.
Let's see if Visma Lease bike play the cards with Vingegaard, but he's been quite isolated at times. Obviously, he's had Ben Tullett drop out due to illness.
Tullett is one I was looking forward to this year. He's going for the GC in Vuelta. So I think like a race like this, because he also loves to race in the Ardennes, which is also a preparation for this race is also a preparation for that one. I think he would be the leader for Visma Lease bike there. So it sucks that he's sick here. But I'm still very curious. I think I named him the most interesting transfer or the best transfer or something this year for Domestique. And I'm still super curious to what he'll do in the Vuelta too. I think he'll be one of the best GC riders in a couple of years.
He's definitely a guy with a lot of untapped potential. He's like
Yeah.
a Vingegaard when he kind of blew up, I think.
Mm-hmm. We also saw some crazy performances when he was 19 or something at Alpecin. Like you just know if a guy can do crazy shit like that if he gets everything right, for which Visma Lease the bike is the perfect team, it'll be crazy good, I think.
And now we are saving the best till last. The Hell of the North, Paris-Roubaix. For me, it's just ever so closely my favorite race of the year. Is this the case for you?
It's pretty close for me between Sanremo, Roubaix, Flanders, and World Champs, but I think it's World Champs best for me, then Roubaix, then Flanders, then Sanremo, and then Lombardia and Luik. It's those four are the best for me.
Paris-Roubaix just has that aura about it, like from minute one, the race can be decided instantly, which is why I think for fan entertainment, it's probably the best.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching it with fries and beer à volonté this Sunday with the cycling club, so I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to be watching it with Jonathan, who was with me on the Paterberg. I don't know if anyone's seen him on the Paterberg. He had a massive white coat with silver hair, so yeah. All the riders were coming up and all the riders were coming up and just looking at him, so yeah. A lot of controversy has already been established in the run-up to this race with the introduction of the chicane. I'm going to put it as the chicane. Just after the train crossing at the Arenberg. For rider safety, I think it's a good introduction. But now looking at it and yesterday, it's bit of a sketchy.
For me, it's pretty easy to look at it. Is this better than the original run into het Bos van Valers? Yes.
Yeah.
Is there an easier and better solution? Also, yes. There are two easy and better solutions for me, to be honest. One is doing it Bos van Valers from the other side. That way you get they do the Bos van Valers a lot slower because it falls flat instead of downhill. Or you come in from the right and they have to take a turn where they do the chicane, but then not coming from the other side, but coming from that way, and they just take a right turn and go in at Bos van Valers without any speed. So those are two easy solutions, and you don't need chicane where they will be coming at it with like 60 k's an hour and they will all break at the last moment. You just know there are going to be crashes and everything, and there are two so easy solutions just right there. Just use them. Like I saw also Benji Nase tweets that when Museo crashed in 1998 or something, I don't know, it was before my time, so I don't know exactly. He hit his knee real bad and almost died because of an infection or something. And then the last year, the year after that, they did Bos van Valers from the other side, so it was false flat. It's just that easy. Then they don't have to make a chicane, etc. It's just the solution is right there. They just have to use it, and yeah, the chicane.
The road furniture doesn't really help as well as, and I've seen a few memes on X. There's literally you can literally just cut the chicane really if nothing was standing there. So I mean,
there's like a map. Sorry.
I don't know what like the penalty would be if you just cut the chicane, but yeah. You made a
Risk
if
you.
you want to win it, just do it.
Yeah, they should, if they follow the rule
It should
book,
be a
like with
DSQ,
Matthews, they should be DSQ. But
Yeah.
it's true. There's like a pole with like a map on it. After chicane, when they go right onto Bos van Walaers, and there you can go at the right side of the pole, and you can make up like 20 positions because there it's a good road. So it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
We've seen this opinion of thinking, is this a joke from the world champ, Mathieu van Der
Yeah,
Poel?
it says a lot.
That's not very good, is it, if you have the world champion saying that on X after
Yeah.
I don't know how many riders would have complained to the CPA with Adam Hansen. I want to possibly, I mean, if we could see that, it would be great, but obviously we can't, can we?
But like it's also if this was the only solution they could do, fine. But there are two much better solutions right there, and they're not using that. So I think that's what upsets Van der Poel. And yeah, like the reigning Roubaix champ, the reigning world champ. If he says something like that on Twitter, yeah, that's not good for Roubaix. So I think they'll have an extra think about the chicane, to be honest.
It was basically like on Twitter, Alpecin really versus a Visma Lease bike, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah, well, I also remember last year, Dylan van Baarle crashing in the Bos van Walaers. Was a really bad crash. He like broke every bone in his body. So like I think from his side it's just yeah, that speed is now gone, so that's good. But like I said, there are better solutions.
Do you think it was like a panic last minute change then?
Yeah, it's always like that in cycling. Like also in Giro stages, we see it so much times that they put in some high mountains from which you know it's going to snow on already in January. You just know it, but they put it in anyway, and yeah, trouble. Yeah, it's classic cycling. Like so much money and preparation and training, etc., goes in, but then there's always changes a couple of days before a race. Yeah, which is ridiculous. Just make sure your race is fixed. Like months before it actually takes part, and not 2 days before it takes part.
Yeah, and they really need to stop doing last minute changes, don't they? But let's get onto the racing and analyze all of the team's provisional starters so far in alphabetical order. But first, onto the weather, which could have a big impact on the race from 140 kilometers out. Little showers, just only little showers are expected from them. So the riders are going to have to be extra careful on the cobbles. The wind, on the other hand, could produce the fastest Roubaix ever with a tailwind for most of the race.
Yeah. Yeah. The wind is going to be a big factor. And it's not going to rain probably on Sunday, is what the forecast says now. But it's going to rain a lot leading up to Sunday. So it will be just 200 and how much is it, 70 kilometers or something of a cyclocross race, to be honest, because there's going to be a lot of mud. It's going to be wet. It's just not going to rain in the race itself. Probably it can also change. We're Thursday morning at the moment recording this, so it can change. But yeah, it's for guys like Oyer Lascano or Dylan van Baarle, who definitely have the motor to win Roubaix. They both have like or Kung. They don't have enough bike handling skills to win a muddy Roubaix, in my opinion. So that's a very important factor, and it's already like Van der Poel is 2 steps ahead if it's a muddy Roubaix. As easy as that.
Yeah. Let's get into the teams. Starting off with Alpecin. The clear favourite for everyone, obviously, with the dropouts before the race. Last year's champ. Can he do it again?
And yeah, like I said, in a muddy Roubaix, he's already 2 steps ahead of the rest. Then you also have Philipsen, Who also skipped Roubaix, who skipped Flanders, also probably with Roubaix in the back of his mind. And he also has nothing to search in Flanders, to be honest. So yeah, that's obviously the strongest team here.
Philipsen, I like his chances. I think he was very strong last year. So if Van der Poel, if Philipsen is in the Velodrome in the sprint, Philipsen wins, obviously, I think. But
Depends.
it depends if he can last that long, isn't it? Really, as well.
Yeah, to be honest, like last year, he easily battered Wout in the sprint, but like imagine Van der Poel is out of the race and Philipsen is going to the line with like a very strong guy. Difficult to pick a name. Like take Stefan Kung. And imagine Stefan Kung is he doesn't crash for once. He races smart for once, and he's almighty strong, and he just rides Philipsen to the absolute limit on every cobbled sector. Like there is a chance that Phillips is so tired at the line that he gets bad in the sprint by Stefan Kung, who peaks like fresh on training, like peaks probably at half the watts Philipsen is peaking at. We also saw it in the 2021 edition with the three-up sprint between Vermeers, Van der Poel, and Colbrelli. Like, I don't think Van der Poel peaked to 1,000 watts, and in that sprint he was just empty. So yeah, it really depends on how hard the race is going to be on Philipsen.
We've gone to Arkea, fresh off the podium place with a second with Mazzato. Do you like his chances here?
Yeah, well, I was talking about it in the group chat this morning. If you look at Roubaix versus Flanders, Roubaix is a race in one which he has before this year proved more at, and which is better suited to him, to be honest. So with the form he had in Flanders, yeah, he showed that he has some goddamn good form. He definitely prefers rain this Sunday, but that's probably not going to happen. But the mud is there, so yeah, he's probably not going to win it or something. Like he also was a bit lucky, of course, with the second place at Flanders, but like a good result, close to top 10, high top 10, that's definitely possible.
Let's now move on to Astana, who I do actually kind of feel sorry for. They've been pretty messed up by injury. Only one confirmed rider so far, Steve Bow.
I think if you look at the skills, Fedorov is a guy who can do very good in Roubaix. I don't know if he's riding it because there's only one guy on the roster, but if he does, and he gets there in top form one day, I think he can, like in the Roubaix in which it's just pouring down the whole day. That's a race where that guy can go for the win.
Actually, there's been an update on Astana's squad as well. It's actually not Seasball even starting. It's Davide Ballerini so far. Instead, that's a change from last night.
Ballerini is a guy who could do good in a race like Roubaix, but he didn't race yet in the 2024 season. So I also don't think a lot of info has come out on him. Maybe I missed it. But yeah, that's definitely going to be a rough injury because it's already the 4th of April. So if you didn't race yet, you're in a lot of trouble, to be honest. So yeah, to be honest, small chance anyone top 10s from Astana this Sunday. But yeah, Roubaix is a race where the craziest top 10s can happen, so you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Imagine you end up winning, and then I think I don't know if you're a follower of Joshua Kahn on Twitter. I think he would probably explode if Astana won. Astana Ultra.
Maybe he wins some of his money back then.
Moving on to Bora Hansgrohe, where they have Jordi Mears, Emil Herzog, and Philippe Maisiuk confirmed so far.
I don't think a lot of people expect something of Maciuk, but that's a guy. A lot of people know him for the wrong reason, but he's also a very big talent with huge absolute watts. Like I'm still waiting on a day that he really shows what he's worth. Like put him in the early break of Roubaix, and I really think that guy can get very far. I have been following him on Strava due to Charlie Carbs and Cycling. He's also a guy who analyzes watts, and he was sending me the files of Maciuk and TTs, and he was doing like 500 watts for 12 minutes, etc. So he's probably just on a very bad CDA on his time trial bike, and he's always domestiquing in races early on, but that's not needed for Bora this Sunday, to be honest, because they don't have one of the favorites. So just drop Maciuk in the early break, go for a result with Meus, etc. And see, yeah, maybe like if Meus is really good, because I think Roubaix is a race that that really suits Meus. So if he gets in the leading group and you have Maciuk in the break, Maciuk can help him out, etc. So I would do it like that.
His third in Gent-Wevelgem was impressive, wasn't it? So does he have the fatigue resistance required?
Meus has huge fatigue resistance. We saw it in the Tour of France last year too. He wasn't winning the fresh sprints. He was winning the sprint on the Champs-Élysées, where everyone was on his knees and he wasn't. It's also like, if you look at the legs of Jordi Meus, there's no way you would think he's a sprinter. Like they don't look like the legs of a sprinter, but he can peak so high. It's crazy.
Moving on to Bahrain, Fred Wright. I'm sure. I think I've seen you. Did you put a bet on for him, if I remember, or not, for this race?
Yeah, top 3 for Tour of Flanders, but he's always that's always the best race of Fred Wright, and he was looking better than ever in the races leading up to Tour of Flanders. His results may not say a lot, but he's always the best in those very high kJ races. So the results he was doing in races with a lot less kJs were pretty promising, but he totally run out of gas in the Tour of Flanders. It was his worst result since 2021 or something, I think, when he was still super young. So that's a bummer for him. But I think a race like Roubaix also suits him a lot. One, he's an amazing bike handler. We saw it last year at the British National Champs. He also did a lot of crit racing when he was younger. So that's where you learn to handle a bike. And yeah, like I said, he's the guy for those long, tiring races. And Roubaix is a race like that. So yeah, and then you also have Moritz there, but he crashed pretty hard at the Tour of Flanders, and he's pretty
beaten up.
He's pretty messed up apparently.
Yeah.
So not even sure he'll start. So yeah, we can't say a lot about him, to be honest. That's the guy who I had written down to win Roubaix this year, to be honest, before the season. But yeah, now it's rough. Like a muddy edition is also perfect for Moritz. We all know how he handles the bike. So yeah, that's I'm pretty curious to see how bad those injuries are, but it's never going to be good for the race, even if he can start. So yeah, that's a very big bummer.
Yeah, obviously all the riders we're mentioning here are provisionally on the start list according to PCS. So moving on to Bingo, they will obviously hope for a break, absolute pissing down rain, and then what do you think there?
Not much, to be honest. Like you say, just go for the early break, hope for a miracle, and yeah, that's about it.
Cofidis now, where they have Christophe Nuppe. If I messed that name up, I'm sorry. Alexis Renard, Pierre Allégard, Milan Frentin, and Alexis Gougard so far. If I messed them up, I'm very sorry.
You did, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I think Alexis Renard is going for the best result there. He's a very good rider, to be honest. I think not a lot of people know him. He's very underrated, but he could just top 10 in Roubaix on if all goes right for him. So that's the best man from the Cofidis squad, I think.
And you have Annie Kalowski, who was on Human Powered Health last year until they obviously folded. I remember in the Mallorca races, I always used to pick him to go on a win because he could actually send his sprint foot as well.
But he doesn't have the fatigue resistance to do something in Roubaix. So yeah.
Moving on to Decathlon 82R, Oliver Narsson. Wow, his 7th place at Flanders. Is he an underdog for this race?
So I was hoping so hard he would podium Flanders, but he cramped up in the sprints, which is such a bummer. He evened his best result ever in Tour of Flanders, which is also a bummer because normally he would have had at least the podium if Sagan didn't crash over that jacket. But that aside, he's in great form now. He's back in great form now because he discovered he had a food allergy. And he's now taking care of that, and that's done a lot to his energy, apparently. So he's back in he's the Nasen again that we knew in 2019. So he's definitely an underdog, to be honest, for this race. He can handle a bike very well too, so the mud isn't a problem for him. He can. Top 10 is definitely possible. That's obvious. But if everything goes well, podium isn't out of reach either.
Yeah, the rest of the team for Decathlon 82 are Gianluca Polifiate, Sander De Pesto, Edvald Bosenhagen, and Pierre Galferat. The last rider there, Galferat. This parkour really suits him, in my opinion, as well. He can. You're disagreeing, but
I love Pierre Gautrat. I think that's generally known at the moment already. But he's too light for Roubaix to be the perfect race for him. That doesn't mean he can't get a result. But he definitely a bit of altitude meters is definitely better for Gautrat. But he's also an amazing bike handler, so that's also good for the mud urbil that'll be there. And the crash he had in Kuren, it was, I think, is also not helping him. He's back in pretty good form now, but otherwise, if that crash didn't happen, he would be in even better form. He's going to get a nice result there, but I don't think he's going to be competing for a podium or even the top 10. Maybe with a lot of luck, a high top 10, but it's going to be tough, sadly.
EF Education Easy Post now. We have Stefan Bissiger, Jack Rookin Gray, Marine van den Berg, Alberto Bettiol. What do you think they can spring surprise?
Jonas Ruch is also definitely starting. He's a Paris-Roubaix monster. That's his race. And Stefan Bissiger is also a guy who should do really well in Roubaix one day, but he's such a strange rider. He's never going on altitude. I have the feeling that he's riding at 50% of his potential. That bothers me, to be honest. I really don't like seeing cyclists of which I know that can do better just ride around a bit. Like Quinn Simmons is also a guy like that. You just know he has the potential to win the big races, but he isn't. Bissiger and Ruch are the guys who will get the furthest for EF, I think. They should both aim for a high top 10 out of the early break, or even out of the early break. You never know what happens, but they're both like guys who can ride in that gray zone, that like tempo zone all day. So they just need to try and get in the early break and just motor around all day and try to get in that final.
Yeah, if they play the cards right, you never know, really, do you? So,
And to be honest, Bettiol debut here. If everything goes well for him, we know he has some damn good form, but I don't know. I don't see Bettiol as a rider who has the bike handling skills, etc., to really ride those cobbled sectors in Roubaix as you should. So I have the feeling that a lot of things will go wrong for him in Roubaix, also his debut race. So yeah, he definitely has the legs for it. But whether he's going to do everything technically right, I don't know.
moving on to Groupama FDJ, Stefan Kung.
Yeah, I would just like him to see him use his brains one time and not crash one time. And like if that guy attacks on the right moments and doesn't crash one race, he can win almost every race.
Yeah.
Like if you see him climbing, the guy weighs like 82, 83 kilos or something, and he's climbing so well. Like he has to have a 20-minute power, has to be like 500 watts or more. Like he's so strong, it's insane. And I don't think he's less strong than a Dylan van Baarle, for example. But Dylan van Baarle has a lot more results. So yeah, he really has to use his brains more in a race, and he can win races like Roubaix and even Flanders. To be honest, if Stefan Kung anticipates on the right moment in Flanders, like we have seen Dylan van Baarle doing 1,000 times in history, he can win races like that. And it's Stefan Kung's sprint after a tough race. It's not too bad, to be honest. After a really, really tough race where everyone is on his knees, Stefan Kung is pretty all right in a sprint. So
you'd think
he just needs to use that.
You'd think as well, after the amount of mistakes he's made in like races, he'd eventually learn from it, but
that's no. He doesn't. It's crazy.
Moving on to the Brits now with the Ineos and Grenadiers, who have Luke Rowe, Joshua Tarling, and Elia Viviani starting. I know who you're going to immediately mention, Joshua Tarling.
Yeah, he crashed this Sunday in Tour of Flanders, still got a good result. So that's pretty crazy, to be honest, because I don't think Flanders suits him that well. So yeah, in a race like Roubaix, they also have Ben Turner. I don't know if Magnus Sheffield is starting, but if he is, he'll also be in for a good result. I think if he doesn't crash for once too, because he can also crash a lot. But Ben Turner and Joshua Tarling, both amazing bike handlers too. They can go for a really nice result. They both have the capacity to podium here. They both have the capacity to win here, to be honest. If Ben Turner didn't crash in the 2022 edition, I think it was, he probably would have gotten he definitely would have gotten a top 5, I think, maybe a podium. Tarling is like 1 year younger than me. It's so crazy, but he can win Roubaix here. He can. If he attacks on the right moment, he goes solo. Who's catching that guy? Like if he needs to do a time trial against Van Der Poel in the final, he cracks Van Der Poel, I think.
Yeah, it's a win, yeah. But Ineos' tactics this year have been
bizarre.
Like prime movie star tactics, really. So
it's just like some years ago, not that long ago, they were tactically amazing, to be honest, and now they're so they're
All over the
they're
shop,
racing like they're racing like they're still the strongest team with the strongest leader, but they aren't. They just aren't. And
What's that thing where
it's
they're racing like they're Team Sky still? That's a funny thing
yeah,
I've ever seen.
but it's also something that Quickstep is doing. In my opinion, they just need to start racing like the underdogs, which they are, and not like the favorites because they aren't anymore. So yeah.
Moving over to Intermarché 1T, who have Gumai, Adrian Petit, Lawrence Rex, and Mike Turnison. Gumai is the one, obviously, who will be probably the leader for this race. Lawrence Rex is a very, very strong unit, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah.
But Gumai, I don't understand Gumai this year.
Yeah. I also don't think Roubaix is a good race for him, to be honest. He can still do well there on talent, etc., but it's not the best race for him. I'm looking more towards Laurens Rex. He was so strong in Flanders while he weighs more than 80 kilos. He'll be insanely good this Sunday, and I'll think he'll be the man for Intermarché.
Yep, and now over to Israel Premier Tech, where we have seen the breakout of Riley Sheehan, as two others are confirmed with him, or provisionally confirmed, with Hugo Hofstetter and Tom Van Asbrook. What do you think of Riley Sheehan's season so far?
He had a lot of bad luck, and to be honest, all classics, running up to Flanders, but also in Flanders itself, he crashed 2 times, but still gotten a nice result. So yeah, like having that much bad luck and still getting results, that says a lot about the motor that guy is in him. Like after the Giro last year, we had Derek Ginepot, and I still chatted a bit with him, and he's always talking about how insanely strong Riley Sheehan is. And like this is the first year he does a full like Cobbled classic season, and he's already here. So yeah, next year he'll be better, and he will get better and better and better. So he's in for a really nice future.
Yeah, his season, he's had in the Tour de la Provence, I think he got really a lucky day. I think he was about to win, if I remember, or something like that.
Yeah, that was Riley Pickrell, I think. No, that you're in. Are you talking about the
Yeah,
sprint
that's it.
stage?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was Riley Pickrell. Yeah.
Yeah. Going over to Lidl-Trek now, who have Tim de Klerk, Jonathan Milan, Mads Pedersen, Edward Toons, Matthias Vashek, and Otto Vergaard. The best team of the classic so far, probably, in terms of their overall performance. How do you think it plays out for them?
Mads Pedersen will be freakishly strong this Sunday, and Jonathan Milan is also a guy. If he races with his brains for once, he can also get a very, very nice result, to be honest. So that's 2 leaders, I think, there, Milan and Pedersen. Pedersen, I'll think he'll be okay this Sunday after his crash at Dwars of Vlaanderen. Sunday was a good training, to be honest, for Roubaix, the way he did Flanders. So he'll be very strong, I think, and then Milan just has to save energy and sit back while Mats is doing big boy stuff.
Just imagine if you see Jonathan Milan with Paris-Roubaix and you see his head go whoop like a bobblehead. Be quite funny.
Probably still hits 2,000 watts in the Velodrome, that guys. Yeah.
Yeah, going over to España now, Movistar. Your favorite rider, probably, if I probably would have guessed.
He's close.
Who have Remy Cavagna, Ivan Garcia Cortina, Johan Jacobs, Oye Lascano, Manlio Moro, Matthias Norgard, and Vinicius Rangel. What do you think happens here?
Strong squad. Oyer Lascano, leader. But Johan Jacobs, Ivan Garcia Cortina, and Matthias Norsgaard are also three guys who for whom Paris-Roubaix is a perfect race. Remy Cavagna has the engine normally, but he doesn't seem to have it this year at Movistar. He doesn't have the bike handling skills for the mud, etc. So I would rule him out for a result, and I would go for a result with Lascano, Jacobs, Garcia Cortina, and Norsgaard. I wouldn't let one of those four Domestique, to be honest. Try to go for the early break with the four of them. Just try to get at least one in it, and then they're set up for a nice day.
I was reading it. Lascano, if it rains, is he basically?
He's already pretty screwed with the motor build Sunday. I've seen him take some corners in races this year and just so bad. So that's the biggest problem for him is his bike handling skills. That will be rough this Sunday. But yeah, if you look at it engine wise, he has the engine to win Roubaix. I think that's clear. But bike handling will be a problem.
Moving on to a pro team now with Lotto Destiny. 3 riders confirmed. Obviously, Delis is ruled out. They have Cedric Bullens, Brent Van Moor, and Alex Sagot. I think those 3 riders are strong, but obviously the team around it, we need to see what comes with them.
Yeah, and they also miss Florian Vermeers here, which is also a very strong guy for Roubaix. Probably Kampenaerts is also starting. But yeah, he doesn't have the best engine for the super long races. But Beulens and Van Moer, I think Segaard will also miss a bit in the final because he's a young guy. But Beulens and Van Moer, they both had a lot of bad luck, to be honest. They crashed a lot, the both of them. So that had an influence on the legs they have now. But if those two can get in top shape to Roubaix, they can top 10, the both of them. They are both super strong.
Going over to Q36.5, one confirmed so far, Rory Townsend.
Yeah, he ain't going to top 10 or something. He's a very interesting rider. He's very fast, but he doesn't have the fatigue resistance to really do something here. And then they have Tom de Vries there, who top 10 in 2022, I think. But he has a lot of health problems this year. So yeah, he's also probably not going to do anything in Roubaix if he even starts. So that's also a bummer. So it'll be a tough race for Q36.5, I think.
Going on to now the Wolfpack, Soudal Quickstep. It's a shame they're not really competing for anything in the classics anymore, but could Tim Merlier do anything as a dark horse?
Lampaard, Merlier, Asgreen, Moscon. They have a very strong team here, to be honest. They didn't perform yet, but Roubaix is such a different race. I think, as you say, Merlier can really do something here, but also Lampaard, Asgreen, Moscon. We saw Moscon doing really well here in the past. It's not a rider I would bet my money on for Sunday, but I would also not be surprised to see him in the final group of 5 or something. He's just that rider who can finish 122nd or something, but he can also just win it out of the blue. Lampaard, he's Mr. Roubaix. Asgreen, he has the engine for it, obviously, but he's struggling. Maybe he finds the legs back this Sunday. And Merlier, he clearly has the legs. He has the bike handling skills. It's like he needs to save energy as much as possible. Maybe go in the early break. Who knows? And Merlier always has a good sprint after a tough race. To be honest, if he gets in the place to sprint for it,
Askren as well, his form has been a bit all over the place, hasn't it?
Mhm. Yeah, it's true. It's Asgreen is one of my favorite riders. I think bike position wise, that's just amazing to look at how he's sitting on his bike. It's the best position out of all the World Tour pros, in my opinion. I love the guy also, just his interviews and how friendly he always is, etc. So yeah, I would love someone of Soudal Quickstep to do a result here.
Moving on now to Team DSM Firmenich Post NL. John Degenkolb, can he get revenge on last year with what happened with his crash?
It's looking not as good as last year, to be honest, but it's Roubaix, so you never know. And you also have Niels Eekhoff, who talent-wise also can get a very good result here, but he's struggling a bit after illness, if I remember correctly, in Paris-Nice. And then he also crashed one time after that in the race. I don't recall which one anymore. So yeah, but I think Eekhoff is not in good enough shape after his bad luck, but Degenkolb didn't have bad luck, I think, but also doesn't seem in the best shape, but probably will still be in the final just on pure knowledge from the past and tactical insights, etc.
Going over to Team Flanders, obviously, like Bingo before, they will be going for America, won't they?
That's true. If I'm looking at Squatters, also not a guy from whom I would say he has the engine to really do something here. So that's also just hoping for a miracle. And from the rest, like in the past, Team Flanders, sometimes it's such strong squads, but this is not a lot of interesting riders for Roubaix here, to be honest.
Going over to now Team Visma Lease bike, we have Dylan Van Baarle lining up, Christophe Laporte, Matteo Jorgensen, Herstjan Hagnes, Tim van Dijk, and Mick van Dijk. What do Visma Lease bike do here?
Laporte is still not sure after his injuries. If he starts, it'll probably be as a Domestique, to be honest. Van Baarle, he won the race in the past, obviously. But he needs a dry Roubaix, I think, not a muddy one. So it'll be like the time he won was also on dry cobbles. I still think he has the form. I wrote a thread about it on the Domestique account, but he really doesn't like rain. He hates it and he just runs out of energy. And I think that was the case this Sunday. So I think he really has the legs. But unfortunately, I think we'll again not see it because of the mud. And he just lacks bike handling skills for that. So yeah, if you rule out Van Baarle and Laporte, it's going to be a tough one because I also don't think this is the right race for Matteo Jorgensen. And maybe like Per Santagnes is the one with he broke his nose in two places. And there's a good chance he'll be the one with the best result at Roubaix for Visma Lease bike. So that's a bummer.
Going over now to Total Energies, who you have Sandy Dujardin, Anthony Turgis, Lorenzo Manzin, Emilian Gionier, Thomas Gachinard, Lucas Boniface, and Dries van Gestel. What do you think they do here?
Dries van Gestel is always a guy who goes for it every race. So with some luck, he can get pretty all right results. Then you also have Anthony Turgis, who also always goes for it, but seems to lack the legs a bit in this classic season because he attacks a lot, but always runs out of energy. So maybe if he races a bit conservative this Sunday, you never know.
Yeah. Team UAE Emirates now. Tim Wellens is there. Morgado is there for his 5,000th race for the season. What do you think they do? Pollitt is also there as well, obviously. And Mikkel Bjerg.
He already podiumed Flanders, and this is the race that suits him the most. Also a very nice result in E3. If everything goes right, Bullet could win this. And then you have Mikkel Bjerg, who's also suited to this race very well. I think Morgado, it's just, I don't dare to say that he can't do something anymore. Like, I also thought before Flanders, I didn't put him in my fantasy game squad. He finished 5th as a 20-year-old in Flanders. He's an amazing bike ender, so he can get far in Roubaix, to be honest. I don't dare to say anything different anymore. And then you have Wellens. Yeah, I think this is like one of the first, if not the first, participation of Wellens in Roubaix. He has amazing legs. He attacked in the last kilometer on Sunday. That's why he's only 12th out of that group. So that explains that. But he has the legs, to be honest. But this is, for the type of rider he is, this is not the perfect race, but he can still do well.
Going over now to Norwegian team of Uno X. They have Abrahamsen, who is, I know, starting because he told me. Soren Warenschild, Alexander Kristoff, and Rasmus Tiller. Who do you think is the leader there in the team?
All four. Just go for it with all four, to be honest. I think Werenskul and Kristoff are a step down compared to Tiller and Abrahamsen, because Kristoff was ill, so he doesn't have the best legs, and he also just never seems to perform in Roubaix as he does in Flanders. Then Søren Werenskul, I think, is overrated on the cobbles. Now he's going to top 10 or something Sunday. Now I said that, but I don't know why. But he doesn't seem to ride over cobbles that well, to be honest, as people would think for his posture. But then you have Tiller, the absolute Watts beast, who had a lot of bad luck in Roubaix the last years. And then you have Abrahamsen. Get him in the early break and you're set in for a good day. But yeah, a lot of teams, if they see Abrahamsen in the early break, that break is going to be catched. So it will be difficult for him this Sunday, because he showed his good legs already numerous times.
Yeah, that's what he mentioned to me in the interview that's going to be published soon, is that his chances to get into a break right now are going to be very, very limited. So he's going to have to play it very smart, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So we've gone through all of the teams. Now to decide how the race will be won.
I'm going to... it's so hard, Yeah, like I said, the mud is such a big factor. And there are, it's Roubaix. Like, a lot of guys can win this. So in the dry edition, I would say Oyer Lascano. And if Laporte wasn't injured, I would have said him, because I think he's the best rider for Roubaix out of the whole peloton. Better than Van Aert in Roubaix, in my opinion, if they're both in top form. I really think he's that good in Roubaix. So it's really hard to call this one. I'm going to go... I don't like to pick a favorite, so I'm going with a bit of an outsider, but also one of the favorites, to be honest, Niels Pollitt.
I'm going with Mads Pedersen, but I just I hope Van der Poel doesn't go solo from far. I hope it's going to be interesting.
If he does that, then there's also to be honest, that's a big chance he does that with Philipsen in the wheels in the group behind. To be honest, that would be the perfect tactic. So that's rough.
Going on to Paris-Roubaix Femmes. Anissa Longo-Borghini was victorious last Sunday in Flanders. Who do you think will be able to take home the prize Cobbled trophy for the women's race after last year's heroics of Alison Jackson?
Yeah, which is strange for me, but Elisa Longo-Borghini isn't riding. So that's a bummer, to be honest, I think, for the race. But I would love to see Shirin van Anrooy take it. It's a bummer, in my opinion, already said it in the beginning, that Puk Pedersen isn't riding it. If she does, and I really hope she changes her mind, she's directly one of the favorites. I hope Shirin van Anrooy is riding it, because It's not on her pro cycling stats for the moment, but she just kind of has to be honest, with her qualities. So yeah, that also be a very interesting race again with Kopecky too, who didn't look too good on Sunday before the Quaremont, but then on the Quaremont looked freakishly strong again. You also have Philipsen, who's looking insanely strong. Like same with the men, so much riders can win this one. Like Alison Jackson, I think. Yeah, it's hard.
Pick one.
Yeah, I want to pick Sharon van Anrooy, but she's not on the start list yet. So that's you have Balsamo, Brandt, Sanguinetti, Bakstedt, Elinor, not Zoe, and then Hansen and Van Dijk for that team. So I really hope Sharon is starting, but yeah. I'm just going to pick someone different than Sharon then. Georgie Pfeiffer. I really like her too.
I'll go
underrated.
After winning the Scheldeprijs women, I'm going to go Lorena Wiebes. So yeah. I hope. Well, I hope I get one right eventually. So that's a wrap for today's Domestic Cycling Podcast. A big thanks to our audience for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, consider supporting us on Ko-Fi or X. If you're on YouTube, consider hitting that notification bell and subscribing to the channel. From myself and Dieter, thanks for joining us and adios.
Adios.
I've got the spores, the sickness.